Okay, so we just finished processing our meat birds for the year. This is the third time that we've raised meat birds, but the first time we've raised them in the fall, and we won't be doing that again. But I'm going to show you guys the whole process from chick to freezer, and we're going to talk about the price breakdown, how much meat we got, and all the different preservation methods that we used. The chicks arrived in late September from Cackle Hatchery. They were healthy, happy chicks, and we even received a few more than we had ordered. The first thing I did for them was make an immune-boosting herbal tea, which you can find the recipe in the description below. Today is cleaning day for the chick brooder. We've had these birds for about 6 days now, and this is the first time that I'm cleaning their brooder. I know, big surprise. I don't know if I should be proud of that, but it has been staying relatively clean in here. They're still small and cute and don't eat very much, so they have small poops, but we have 75 birds, which is the most we've ever had. Last year is the first year that we started to raise meat birds, and the most we ever had at once was 40. So we still built them a little brooder box and kept it in the shop and cleaned it out every other day. But this time we couldn't really do that, or I guess I didn't really want to do that because I didn't want to have to clean the brooder every single day. It gets so stinky, smelly. So instead we opted for the greenhouse. Yes, we made our greenhouse into a brooder, and it's been working out really, really well. I was unsure about doing this at first, but boy, I'm glad that we tried it because it's like a little chicken paradise in here. There's so much space for them to roam around. They have, we've got some mint and strawberry leaves creeping up into the greenhouse, and they have just been having the time of their young lives in here. Our greenhouse is a 6x10 building with plastic sheathing around it, and we have a vent fan that turns on at 100 degrees. It's only turned on maybe 2 or 3 times now because it's the end of September and it's been really nice here. While at night, I have these 2 heat lamps and a heating pad plugged in for them. I have this digital thermometer that stays in here. This one stays in here, and then it comes with a digital display that tells you the internal temperature. I'd say maybe the lowest I saw it was 74 degrees one morning, and when I came out here they were totally fine. They were just running around, beep-bopping, chirping, clucking, doing whatever they chicks do, and I was pleasantly surprised about it. At one point, I did have to put up a temporary shade wall on the south side of the greenhouse as the temperatures in the brooder were getting above 100 degrees, and this worked really well to maintain the temperature during the day. So our ability to feed them organic relied heavily on the fact that we found an amazing deal on Marketplace for organic chick starter, and it completely filled up our 800-pound grain bin, which we had to do twice. By week 2, I was cleaning out their brooder nearly every other day. It's really important to keep the brooder clean and dry so that disease doesn't spread. I'd rake the pine shavings up, run it over to my compost pile, and come back and spread new pine shavings. Hey guys, so I just wanted to give a little update on the chicks. The other day I had one die on me, and it didn't have any symptoms of anything. I was quick to run and grab the Corid, which is a coccidiosis prevention and a chemical that you add to their water. But before I did that, I realized that I didn't notice any signs of coccidiosis in any of the chicks. I came back out here, I looked at all the chicks, and none of them were lethargic or not eating or not drinking, not running around and chirping. They all seemed very healthy and happy. Instead of adding the Corid to their water, I added some natural preventions such as apple cider vinegar and antibacterial and antimicrobial such as tea tree oil and rosemary. And oregano oil is really good for that. And then I added some diatomaceous earth to their feed, and I've been doing that for a couple days now, and I haven't had any deaths. At week 4, they were nearly fully feathered, but it was still dipping down into the 30s, and I didn't want to risk hypothermia, so I left them in the greenhouse for another week and a half until they fully feathered. At 5.5 weeks, they were ready for their new home, so we set up their enclosure, which is 150-foot electric netting and allows them to safely forage in one area of the pasture. We rented out the chicken tractor to the goats over the summer, who are terrible tenants and completely destroyed the chicken wire, but that's okay because we were going to wrap the sides in plastic anyway as we were expecting cold nights. But the chickens have been able to get in and out of the netting, which is not ideal, but it was kind of all we could do because our electric fence is as strong as it's going to be, and if they couldn't feel it, then they were just going to go ahead and get in and out of the electric netting. Last time we did Cornish Cross hens, we kept them strictly in their chicken tractor. They were not able to get in and out of the chicken tractor like these guys, and it was nice, and I like the chicken tractor, but seeing chickens be able to peck around and forage in a wide area makes me so happy because I know that they're healthier, they're happier chickens, and they're getting more protein sources from all the bugs that they're digging up from the ground. For their water, we have a 55-gallon drum that I fill completely full with water, and on the end of it is connected to a hose that leads to an automatic waterer with a float in it. And that's been working really well. And then as far as their feed, I have this like 30-gallon drum that I fill completely with feed, and then I can just scoop that out and fill their feed container that is inside the chicken tractor. Typically, you want to put Cornish Cross hens on a 12-hour feeding schedule because if given the chance, they will eat themselves to death. We had them on this schedule up until about week 8 when we noticed that they were not growing at the same rate that we were used to. So I started to fill their feed container anytime I saw it was empty, and by week 10, they were finally at a size that we were comfortable taking them at. This was perfect timing as maintenance was getting a lot harder because water was icing over and it was just getting colder and colder every day. All right, we're on our last day of processing birds. They have a much slower growth rate in the fall. I would certainly suggest if you're going to do Cornish Cross to do it in the spring or summertime because these guys are averaging about 1.5 pounds less than what we're used to when we grow them out in the summertime. But we've got our last few birds to do today, so let's see what 75 birds gives us. On processing day, our preferred method is skinning and making individual cuts. That way we can vacuum seal the breasts together and the quarters, and whenever we are ready to open that up, throw it in the crock pot and eat on it for a couple days. This time around, we smoked about 20 chickens, which is a really great method for ready-to-go chicken if you don't want to can it. Okay, so we ended up processing about 68 chickens, and that gave us a grand total of 320 pounds worth of chicken. That completely filled up our deep freeze, and I was able to can about 40 quarts worth of chicken. And if you're interested in learning how to can chicken, check out the link in the description below. We also processed about 80 quarts worth of chicken bone broth. And a bone broth of this caliber is going to cost you between $10 to $15 per quart if you buy it online. So to me, it just makes sense to save the feet and carcasses and make my own bone broth at home. We also saved the necks, heads, wings, and organ meat for our future dogs. Everything else gets composted and goes right back into the garden. So these chickens live a full cycle of life, and there's zero waste on this homestead, which I think is pretty cool. That's my favorite part of this whole process. We spent about $1,000 to buy the chicks, buy them organic grains, and some bedding from Tractor Supply. So our total cost breakdown comes down to $3.60 per pound. That is a great deal for organic chicken. It's the most convenient and easy way to fill your deep freeze full of meat very quickly. Now, I will say that it's a little bit more expensive than we were expecting because we had to buy double the amount of feed that we had originally planned for them. When we raised them in the summer, we have them on that 12-hour feeding schedule, and we're ready to take them in about 8 to 9 weeks. But this time around, they had to use all their energy for staying warm, and it took a lot longer to pack on those pounds and get that conversion ratio to work out in our favor before we had to take them in the beginning of December when it was really cold. So if you're going to raise these chickens, raise them in the summer where you can keep them on that feeding schedule and probably get by paying a little bit less than us. A couple things I will say about this breed before I go is that because they grow so quickly and rapidly, I don't keep them with my regular flock. They would just eat through all of the flock's feed, and they make such a huge mess that I didn't want to have to maintain that every single day. So that's why we keep them out in the chicken tractor or out on the pasture, because you can maintain their cleanliness a lot easier. Also, if you're looking for a revolving door type flock that you can continue to breed, this is not the breed for you. You're looking for more of a dual purpose breed, because you cannot breed Cornish Cross hens on your own. I hope this video helped, and if you guys liked it, please feel free to hit that subscribe button or leave a comment, and I hope to see you next time.